Second item, the corruption you cry about. If the government does not owe you any obligation for your welfare, which includes education and healthcare and housing and all the good things, the infrastructure you require, or equal treatment against everybody, if the government does not owe you any obligation in black and white, as we have seen, and then we come to the appropriation provisions in sections 81, 82 for the president and the federal government, and sections 121 and 122 for the governors and the states. Those sections hand over the spare keys of the treasury to the heads of the executive branch. See the way it works. Section 81 says that the president cannot spend any money from the treasury except by the approval, by way of appropriation of the National Assembly. Section 82 says that while the National Assembly is debating that appropriation, the president is at liberty to run government spending money, subject to 50% of what was approved for each subject the year before. So how does it operate? The president that knows about that provision goes to use Ghana Must Go to put a jumbo figures in budget. And so, knowing fully well that he cannot get more than 100 billion for education, for instance, he will put 300 billion for education. The National Assembly people know that no more than 100 billion can come, but they have seen 300 billion. They collect their money, they collect their own share of that fraud by way of Ghana Must Go. So 300 billion is written. The reason for putting 300 billion for education by a president that knows that he cannot get more than 100 is to create the threshold that allows him to take everything that comes under the 50% rule dictated in section 82 of the Constitution. As it is for education, so it is for healthcare, so it is for defense and all the other subject headings of the budget. The bottom line is that the president has the spare key to the treasury for all the monies that come in to take, pretending he's taken half of what, because he had put the figures that give him leeway to take everything. As it is for the president in section 81, 82, so it is for the governor in sections 121, 122, where the governor is required to go to get permission from state assembly to spend money, but he is at liberty to run government, subject to, in terms of spending, subject to 50% of what was approved the previous year. In the states again, Ghana Must Go, figures, jumbo figures, and therefore spare key to take everything in treasury. That's how we came to this monumental corruption you see, in which everything that is budgeted ends up in private pockets of those who head the executive branches, both at the federal and at the state. Then you come to section 308 that gives them absolute immunity. And so you can't question them no matter what you see them doing while they're in office. The day they are leaving office, the people they put to replace them are people who will go to prison if any investigation should occur at all. Go and look at it. And so you have this constitution that absolves government of responsibility towards you, that give the heads of the executive branch spare key to the treasury, and give them absolute immunity. You can't question anything they do. And then you come to the one of 68 items of exclusive list, in which your security is only by federal government and they are not in your community. Your infrastructure is in the hand of federal government, they are not doing it for you. Your economic assets, including oil and gas and all the big economic ports and every other thing that solid mineral, everything that represents money is in the hand, by that exclusive list, in the hand of federal government. Even the question of electing who will govern you. I'm telling you the things coming from that constitution directly responsible for the torment you live in. The refineries, you see every day petroleum prices come up and go up. The refineries are on that exclusive list. Until that constitution goes down, none of these things will change. Your security can only get worse. The infrastructure will get worse. If anybody tells you he's going to bring electricity for you with that constitution still standing, that person is telling you lies, because the electricity generation and transmission is in the hand of the federal government. Now they say they've done an amendment that put it on the concurrent list. How does it work? The federal government still have superintendents. The federal government can still override the states if they have an interest, because you can only do those things where the national grid does not cover. I don't know what they've changed in it now, but I'm telling you that the electricity you don't have is on account of that constitution. The roads that are not there is on account of that constitution. The railways that were not there is on account of that constitution. The refineries that are now, we are now buying from international, for a country that produces 3 million barrels of crude oil, for goodness sake. What the 300 million, 3 million barrels of crude oil every day selling to the international, why can't we process the less than 10% we require for local consumption? It is because refineries are on that exclusively. Only the federal government can, and you can see the only one they have chosen amongst all is their Dangote to come and refine what they cannot refine and give to all of us, selling to us at international prices. They've already invested $2 billion of our collective money into the private business of Dangote. Having allotted the limestone of Benue to that same Dangote to become Africa's richest man producing cement, whereas Benue can take that cement and find whoever will process it with them and sell together. Lagos can run their port and make their 2 trillion in 1 year from that port. Those who own oil and gas can invite the people who have the technology to come and mine and pay royalty or taxes as we may agree. That is what a federation is supposed to be. So everything you lament about, including who will govern you, people sit in Abuja in the name of INEC, and whatever they process is what you get. If they leave you with a choice of you choose between armed robber or assassin or ritualist, those are the only candidates you have. Go and see the kind of people they process. And then that's what you get as governor. That's what you get as government. It is that constitution that did all of that in that exclusively. So that is what is coming, that is what is dictating what your government is doing, the constitution. That is the layer 3 coming from the top. We've seen the bottom layer. We've seen the next layer. We've now seen what is coming from the third layer, the constitution, in that pyramid. We go one step further. The operators of that constitution, the ones who dictated what is inside that constitution and who are the operators of that constitution, which you see as government down the road, is the caliphate. That caliphate is a power higher than that constitution, which is why they are urinating on that constitution as they are in power now. All of you can see it, that there's nothing you can hold them to in that constitution. They dictated what was in it when it was written, and they are operating it in the way they choose. It is that caliphate that has appointed the heads of all the arms-bearing agencies of government. They are the ones you don't see, but that is where they are. It's them that will appoint the head of NNPC, the head of MPA, the head of customs, all the revenue-generating agencies in the country. They are the ones who will appoint one of them or whoever they have processed and found fit for their purpose. It doesn't matter what all of you are thinking. But take this map and look at who is manning all of those key points of the economy. Who is manning all of those key points of security? Who is manning all the key points of opportunity in the land? Licensing for this and that. So it is that caliphate that is operating that constitution. And they are not accountable to you. In consultation with their principal up, the Coven, the British Crown and the British government. That's the only one they have to defer to. And so we have now from that caliphate, the peak of the pyramid, the command, the control room of that command and control structure that goes all the way down to where you are suffering. And what you find there is the British Crown and the British government. Are you surprised that they are summoning all of your candidates for election to come to Chatham House, which is like the front desk of that coven?